From our studios along MDI Road in Banjul, good evening, or in Kanifing rather, good evening. Here is the news with me, Jainaba Nyang. In the headlines, Gambian pilgrims in Mecca perform Umrah ahead of the Hajj. The Central Bank of the Gambia says the economy is growing despite some challenges. The Nigerian military reports the surrender of 70 insurgents in the past weeks as it intensifies the war against Boko Haram. And the tiny East African state of Djibouti gets positive reviews from the IMF and the African Development Bank. Those are tonight's headlines. Those and more in this half hour. I am Jane Amanyan presenting. Gambian pilgrims in Mecca have performed Umrah ahead of the Hajj, which is scheduled for August the 30th to September the 4th. Umrah is a mini Hajj that is performed at any time of the year. The pilgrims left Medina on Saturday dressed in special clothing known as Ihram, which symbolizes a state of spiritual purity. Hadibaji reports from Mecca.
Gambians on a pilgrimage to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have performed Umrah ahead of the Hajj, which is scheduled from August 30th to September 4th. Umrah is a mini Hajj that can be performed at any time of the year. The pilgrims left Medina on Saturday dressed in special clothing known as Ihram, which symbolized a state of spiritual purity aimed at giving up worldly desires. Before entering the Holy Land of Mecca, the pilgrims performed prayers at Mehad Sul Khulaifa, which is about 12 kilometers from Masjid Nabawi in Medina. Upon entering the Holy Land of Mecca, the pilgrims performed tawaf by circling the Kaaba 7 times at the same time, reciting supplications to the Almighty Allah. The Kaaba, the holiest site in Islam, is at the center of the sacred mosque of Al-Masjid Haram. From the Kaaba, the pilgrims then walked briskly back and forth between Al-Safa and Marwa, the two hills traveled by Hajara in search of water for her son Ismail. While in Mecca, the Gambian pilgrims are lodged at Hotel Mayar Murasa. The rooms are modern with showers, air conditioners, comfortable beds, and fully fitted kitchen facilities. Many pilgrims have described the hotel facilities as superb. On Wednesday, 30th August, which marks the beginning of the Hajj, the pilgrims are scheduled to leave Mecca for Mina, where they will spend the whole day in prayers before leaving to Arafat and Muzdalifah. For GRTS News, this is Hadibaji reporting from Mecca.
The National Disaster Management Agency, in partnership with the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, has concluded a training on disaster loss calculation. The objective is to track losses as a result of disasters in order to better mitigate the plight of victims. Miriam Jai Ajay tells us more.
Disaster risk reduction aims to reduce the damage caused by natural hazards. The recent mudslide disaster in Sierra Leone that stormed the world is one clear example of how devastating disasters can be. Disasters often follow natural hazards, and this is why a training like this was organized. Now the question is, how do we stop such disasters from happening? The United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction may have some answers. In a statement at the opening of the 3-day forum, the Deputy Permanent Secretary Abdoulaye Ba said the government of the Gambia is committed to tackling natural disasters.
It is hopeful that this training will give us an opportunity to be able to calculate these impacts and losses, document them accordingly, and use them for strategic policy and decision making.
The Executive Director, NDMA, said NDMA has developed a disaster management strategy to mitigate the adverse effects of climate change.
With a strong national leadership, a supportive donor partnership, and with great commitment, especially from the local people themselves and other stakeholders, I am confident the Gambia will be able to overcome those challenges.
These, according to Sane, are aligned with government, regional and global disaster programs to deal with disaster risk management and other legal frameworks. Adam Fish, the Program Officer, Risk Knowledge Regional Office for Africa, UNISDR, said his agency supports the implementation of national disaster reduction programs.
It's the responsibility of the Gambia to tell its own story, to record its own history, and to explain to everybody else why it's important to work here, to pay attention, to contribute, participate.
The scale of the impact, in turn, depends on the choices we make for our lives and for our environment. These choices relate to how we grow our food, where and how we build our homes, what kind of government we have, how our financial system works, and even what we teach in schools. Each decision and action makes us more vulnerable to disasters or more resilient to them. Marian Jai Ajayi, GRTS.
As part of the implementation of the ECOWAS Interstate Road Transit Scheme, the Ministry of Trade, in collaboration with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, on Thursday organized a transit test convoy from Banjul to the border post of Jiboro. Winifred Nicol went along and she now reports.
The ECOWAS Interstate Road Transit Scheme, ISRT, is designed to safeguard goods from the point of loading to their final destination in the sub-region, free from harassment, delay, and deviation into another territory. The Gambia part of the scheme was launched in 2008.
Before the implementation of the scheme in 2013 July by the Ministry and the Chamber of Commerce, transit goods are transported through a lot of difficulties. There are a lot of small fees that are required, export fees and so many other things. But it took us through a lot of negotiations with the relevant stakeholders, including the Gambia Revenue Authority, the Customs Department, the transporters, the clearing agents, and so forth. Just for us, with a view that we want to enhance Gambia's competitiveness in the transportation of transit goods.
The transit test convoy, as part of the implementation of the scheme, is aimed at informing the public of process involved in the interstate road transit.
Since the GCCI is the national guarantor of the transit, now we issue them a guarantee bond, they will fill it, GCCI will endorse. After preparing, then they go to custom, prepare their application and seek approval from the Commissioner General. When that is done, they'll then come back to GCCI for them to pay their acquisition fee, 0.25% of the entire CI value.
The transit operations also include a sealing system, which is supervised by customs officers, police, and other supporting agencies at the beginning of every journey based on the ECOWAS ISRT procedures.
The logbook is the document that is going to accompany the truck after sealing. So now they will come and buy the logbook and then fill it. After filling the logbook, we will also verify whether what is loaded in the truck is exactly inputted into the logbook. If that is the case, we will now sign the logbook, and then the agent will go back to custom for custom also to verify whether the records that they made during the opening is exactly in the book, because they also supervise the loading. This process continues to the police, to the NIA, and the drug squad. If everything is ready, they will now come back to us for us to go and seal the vehicle.
According to stakeholders, the ISRT is a comprehensive and integrated approach, reducing the difficulties and costs of trade transactions in the ECOWAS sub-region.
You know, we have a lot of checkpoints along our corridors, not only in the Gambia, but other countries as well. But with the scheme, these ISRC vehicles, from the port of loading, that is the port of Banjul, they are only supposed to pass through two other extra checkpoints. And at that checkpoint, there shouldn't be much problem. The officers at the checkpoint is to look at whether the seal is still intact, verify some of the things like the papers intact, and then they allow the vehicle to go.
With the launch of the Interstate Road Transit Scheme, the people of West Africa can be assured of a hassle-free trade between their respective countries. Reporting for GRTS News, I'm Winifred Nico.
The Central Bank of the Gambia on Friday held its Monetary Policy Committee meeting to assess developments in the country's economy and set the policy rate. Seydou Camara has more in this report.
The governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Bakari Jammeh, said the Gambia's economic growth declined by 2.2% in 2016 from mainly to the disappointing performance of the agriculture sector.
I think today every Gambian should celebrate because we can say we have reserves to cushion the economy against external shocks. We can meet emergency imports of the country, and we expect the dollarcy to respond to it, by becoming, by strengthening and also becoming more and more stable.
The governor noted that the current account balance improved from a deficit of US at 8.4 million in the first half of 2016 to a deficit of US 36.8 million during the preview period, mainly due to the improvement in service and net current transfer. Jammeh acknowledged that the dollarcy remains stable in the domestic foreign exchange market.
So I can say we are at comfortable level, and we want to shift our attention to other areas as well. As a central bank, if you achieve price stability, we want to see inflation go down significantly. It has started, the trend is clear to us now. It was around 8.8, came down to 8.4, now it's at 8%. So with all these inflows, we expect the dollarcy to strengthen, and then inflation will be pushed down more.
The Monetary Policy Committee noted that the Gambia's economic condition continued to improve in 2017, and the outlook remains favorable against the backdrop of gains in agricultural production.
Once we achieve our medium-term inflation objective, we normally shift your attention more to growth issues for the country. But normally, under normal circumstances, central bank will focus on price stability.
According to the central bank governor, the major risk to macroeconomic outlook is the level of debt inherited from the past regime. The Monetary Policy Committee will continue to monitor developments in the economic and act in the best interest of the country. Seydou Camara, GRTS News.
And time for our first break now. The news continues right after. Sports. 18-year-old Abdoulaye Diallo has become the second Gambian to play in the French league after Abdourahmane Damfa. Diallo made his debut for Metz after signing a 5-year deal with the French Ligue 1 club. The teenage sensation, as MS Diallo tells us, is the latest big success story for Real de Banjul in the transfer market.
Football Club are one of the oldest and successful clubs in the country. 50 years of existence has seen the capital club register remarkable success in domestic football, both on and off the pitch. 11 league titles and still counting is bettered only by Walidan. But one thing that has made Real stand tall among the rest is the club's ability to market players outside of the Gambia. Over the years, Real has sold more players than any other Gambian club. Among some of the recent notable transfers involving Real de Banjul players are Baboucarr Steve Traoré, who was sold to the Chinese Super League, Boubacar Sane Timba, sold to Denniside FC Hossen, and Lamin Jalab Bag, who was signed by Italian Serie A side Chievo Verona, now on loan at ACC Siena in Italian Serie B. But the biggest of them all is the transfer of Abdoulaye Diallo, who was recently signed by French Ligue 1 side Metz on a 5-year contract from Generation Foot. Abdoulaye was loaned to Generation Foot by Real de Banjul, where the youngster enjoyed 2 stellar seasons, helping the Senegalese side to win their first league title before completing one of the high-profile transfers by a Gambian player. Abdoulai's move delighted both Real de Banjul and Generation Foot.
Abdoulaye Diallo has signed for Mets with the help of Generation Foot for 5 years, and we are expecting that he will do well, and that would encourage Mets to look at more Gambian players. And we hope that he will play with the first team and will be able to make a big name there for Generation Foot and for Real de Banjul.
In a show of appreciation, the president of Generation Foot recently traveled to the Gambia to thank his Real de Banjul counterpart for the two clubs' fruitful relationship.
He also came to tell us thank you because one of our players, Abdoulaye Diallo, the captain of the Under-20, was very influential in helping Generation Foot win the league this year. And we have a very good relationship with this club. We have another player there, Bulsane, and we are looking at placing there another 3 or 4 players because we see that it's a window for Real de Banjul to enter the French league.
di wax aussi que Gambien yëpp li soxal Willy mooy Gambie football Gambie dem Gambien dem ci kanam.
We are here to thank Willy for our fruitful partnership.
Pour ñu améliorer football Gambien. ñun nag tey am nañu centre boo xam ne.
At our center, we have players from all over Africa, but Senegal and the Gambia is one.
dañuy ne Sénégal.